Mr. Shachindra S Bhat, Senior Vice President at BSR Infratech.
I think the moment you realize that you are in the right place is when things stop feeling like a job.
So you've managed budgets worth hundreds of crores, and in the world of infrastructure, one mishap can turn a project into a financial disaster.
I will now go to a flashback to one of my most memorable experiences at a project site in Nepal. You are going to jump off your seat listening to the story.
Well, it's easy to chase short term savings, but it's the long term thinking that really pays off.
It was a tunnel project under the mighty Himalayas, and the conditions were brutal. We were 300 meters inside into the rock, and then it was minus 10 degrees outside.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. In this series, we speak with industry leaders whose vision, resilience, and expertise have left a lasting mark on their fields. And today, we have the privilege of speaking with a veteran whose career has spanned over 3 decades in the infrastructure and construction industry. Mr. Shachindra S Bhat, Senior Vice President at BSR Infratech, has led projects of national significance, from constructing tunnels under challenging sub-zero conditions in Nepal to delivering mega thermal power plants and high-value infrastructure projects across India. His work has shaped bridges, dams, hospitals, and power facilities, impacting communities and economies alike. Recipient of the prestigious Rashtriya Gaurav Award, Mr. Bhatt's career reflects not just technical mastery but also strategic leadership in project management, business development, and corporate governance. Sir, it's an honor to have you with us today, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tanay.
So before the awards, the large scale projects and the leadership positions, I'm sure there was a beginning. So could you please take us back to those early years? Like how did your career in infrastructure and construction begin? And were you always certain that this was the path for you?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this question. So it is very interesting, and then I am very happy to be here with you today on a first time with the leaders. So you are now taking back me to my old memories. So with this question, so I remember that I was at Nagaland initially, which is at a remote corner of our country, and then I started my career from there in a hydroelectric project. So it was a large scale project, and then I remember now after you have asked this question that how I landed there, what happened that first day after going through that environment, that mighty Nagaland hills, and then that remoteness which I felt over there, away from all our known people here in Bangalore. So I had to travel 100 hours to reach that place that day. So it is a very good experience. And then before going to that, I would just like to tell you that basically I am a civil engineer, and having done my master's in structural engineering, I always wanted to be a good design engineer and then look for a good job in Bangalore city itself. So, but somehow destiny took me to construction, and I landed in Nagaland. So when I landed there, I had a very different experience. The people over there, they welcomed me. The warmth which I found in their welcome in that remote corner. So even they were also, I think, interested to meet somebody who has come from India all the way to their place. So they were very happy, and then the amount of affection which I got from them is really a good memory, in fact. So there I had a very good leader, my mentor, one Mr. Kesarkar. So he was actually an ex-defense guy, and then he taught us a lot of things, and he was very tough, in fact. So he took us through that construction procedure process. He taught us what is construction and then what we have to do. I learned everything from him. And then during this stage, there was a situation where he had to go on leave for some personal reasons. So it was a long leave for him. So they wanted to actually find somebody to take care of the site in his absence. It was a large hydroelectric power project. I never expected that I will be getting that opportunity. So somehow they selected me being a junior guy. I got that opportunity, and then I had several seniors over there. And in his absence, I had to manage the site. I had to even manage my seniors, take their advice, and then execute the things. So take a lot of decisions, do purchases. So when he came back, I was actually a little bit scared. I don't know what he's going to tell and how the situation is going to be. But after he came back, the amount of appreciation which I received from him, as well as my clients as well. So my clients also told him that how I manage the site in his absence. So all these things actually built in a lot of confidence in me, and then it brought in a lot of positive energy into me. So because of that, I think somehow that has become a turning point in my career. That I decided that okay, let the design be there at its place now. Now I will continue in this field only. So he took me in that direction. And then from there, I changed from one site to another site. I moved from one place to another place, traveled all across Northeast, in North India, also South India, and then worked in various regional offices. So I had a span of about 30, more than 30 years of career now. So I think all this is because of that beautiful experience which I started my career from Nagaland. Thanks for this question, Tanay.
Yeah. I think some early experiences and people we meet slowly curb our entire life a certain way, which we realize much later on.
Yeah, you are right. So this infrastructure and construction industry by itself, when I started working in this field, I found that there is a lot of opportunity to learn whatever we have learned in our college days, the
Yeah.
entire technical skill and then our other managerial skill. We can definitely use that in the field, and then there is a scope for out of box thinking, and then we can learn not only from my seniors. In fact, I don't have any hesitation to tell that I have learned from my juniors also.
Yeah.
So it is a very good field, and then I think infrastructure and construction field is great, and then one can definitely do miracles in this field.
Yeah. So you manage projects in every condition imaginable, from tunnels under freezing Himalayan rock to massive power plants in the middle of summer heat. Can you take us inside one of those moments where the conditions, the deadline, or the unexpected challenges made you think this is going to be the toughest call of my career? And what was that turning point that got it back on track?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question, in fact. So I remember my one of my beautiful experience in Nepal when I was working in Nepal. So when I speak about Nepal, I was a young engineer at that time, and then I remember that great book written by Dr. Abdul Kalam, Wings of Fire. I had a lot of fire in me those days, and then of course even now I have it, but that those days are different. But fire inside. Having said that, it was a freezing condition outside. So it was minus sub-zero temperature, and then a very, very remote place. It was almost a China border. And then we had to travel all the way from Kathmandu to that place in a very, very difficult terrain. So the beautiful mountains. And if I tell this experience, I think definitely you will also you may laugh at some time. So there, in fact, the to answer to your question, there I was actually handling, again, it was a hydroelectric power project. So I was actually handling a tunnel and an underground powerhouse works there. So I had a similar type of challenge there in both the cases. So in tunnel, the progress was not coming up to the mark, and then even in underground powerhouse as well. So there was a lot of pressure from the client, and then my in charge was under tremendous pressure. I was a new recruitee there. So he called me and then he said that a lot of issues at this site, and then how to improve this progress. I want to know from you. So I studied the site for 1 or 2 days. Then I went to him and I said, "Sir, I can do it, but only thing is I will be requiring some resources from your end and some support." So he said that I will do all those things, but you tell me what you can achieve. So then I straight away said, "Sir, what you're achieving now, I will double it." Then he just smiled at me and he said that, "See, many people have said this to me, but nobody has done it. So I don't believe." I said, "Sir, you believe me and then give me some chance." So he agreed, and then I am thankful to him. He provided me the resources, and then I went to site. I studied. So initially, I had the challenge of even managing the human resource over there. Initially there was some resistance from the people to change to the new methodology. So I took some out of box ideas there, change the methodology itself. The good thing here, what I would like to press upon is that I had the guts of going and telling my management that I want to change the resources. So they had already mobilized, they had invested, and the working capital was already invested. but I forced them to once again remobilize some other resources. And then by keeping the already mobilized resources idle at site, bringing in new resources, I changed the methodology. I took the people into confidence, and then we achieved the progress. We doubled it. And then my boss was so happy, and then he said that yes, today you have done it. I'm very happy. So same was in the case of underground powerhouse also. So there we had a challenge with our client. I challenged my client that I will complete this work in 6 months. There was also a very beautiful incident here behind that. Uh, there were Maoist issues in the project side, and then we had only one communication tower, and then they in fact damaged it. They blasted the tower, and then we lost communication from Kathmandu to our project site. So our messenger used to travel like a kabutar in movie how they show. So he used to travel all the way to Kathmandu and bring in. So we were totally cut off from the world. So under such circumstances, I decided that I will complete this work, only then I will go to Kathmandu. I did not speak to my family for 6 months. And then I completed that work. Afterwards, I came to Kathmandu after handing over it to client. And then I spoke to my family, and from there I flew to Bangalore. So this is a very beautiful experience. What I would like to tell you is that the learning is, see, we need to stay committed always. And then we should think out of box, and then we should have that character in us. We have to show our character at difficult times. So if we do that, I think any challenge can be accepted, and then we can deliver the goods.
Very well said, sir. I think that point of commitment and staying at something which is given to you, especially when it's not going right, is the long term result that comes out of it.
Yeah.
Sir, you've overseen budgets worth hundreds of crores, and in infrastructure, one wrong move can turn a profitable project into a financial drain. When you're in charge, how do you make sure costs stay under control? And can you share a time when a decision you made early on saved both money and quality down the line?
Yeah, I have some such experience. I can share my experience. See, here I would like to begin my discussion with a beautiful statement that a stitch in time saves nine. So I can refer to one of my project, which it is a thermal power project. So there we were actually doing the design engineering. So what is important in any project is that initial planning, and then the initial budgeting, cost control, which of course everybody does it. And then even after having done all those things, surprises are definitely going to come. So we do not know in a large scale project, surprises comes from which angle, which side it comes. So, but we need to identify the surprises in time. It is very, very essential. So if we miss out on that, then it will have a very big damage, and then it will take us to nowhere. So here in this project, we were having one issue. The design was in our scope, and then we submitted our design to the client, but the client did not accept the design, which was actually as per the contractual conditions. But they referred to some other specifications, and then they insisted upon us to adopt some such design methodology, which is not actually adopted in the general market for similar type of projects. So even after having convinced them with a lot of examples, they did not agree. The reasons were something different. Actually, there were so many other behind the screen issues. So nevertheless, in a project of about 200 crores, we were almost in the verge of undergoing a loss of almost 60 to 70%. So this, in the initial stage of the project, we identified. And then after identifying the same, then immediately we thought that yes, no, we have to make it uh, to move in our way. Otherwise, we will lose, and then we will stand nowhere in this project. So here, what we did that we just, in fact, I learned here to resist and also to justify. So under such situation, what I would like to say is that we have to prove our point till the last minute. We should not lose on them. We lose on that. So here we had to bring in all our knowledge, experience, and then we had to go refer to so many IS codes. Even I had to go to an extent of meeting the IS codal committee members, and then brought their opinion, and then referred it to a high level technical committee. And then we finally ensured that we did not lose on this project. So it is a project where we identified the problems in a very, very early stage, and then we went strong with the client, and then we convinced them, and then we took a decision. So there was also a similar type of situation where we saved on cost. by managing the timeline of the project. That was a tunnel project near Mumbai. And from Khandala, Lonavala, and this Kopoli section, we were constructing a tunnel for Tata Power those days. So when we were doing the final backfilling of the concrete, we were laying the pipes and then we were doing the concreting. So the conventional concrete, when we do, we were doing with 6 meter length of pipes, and every time we used to do 6 meters. So if you do at 6 meters, of course, the time is going to be more. So clients were demanding for early finish. So then what we thought is that, okay, we have to now think out of box. And then we also worked out the cost and the speed of work, how much we are going to save on time, and then how much we are going to save on cost because of the uh, less time which we are going to manage. So by doing all those things, we developed those days. Nowadays it is quite common, but those days it was very new product. We developed a self-compact concrete at project site itself. And then our design team, our research team from Chennai headquarters, they came all the way and then they supported us. And then we increased the length of the concrete from 6 meters to 18 meters. So this brought down the construction schedule by more than 4 to 5 months. And then we finished the project ahead of schedule. We saved on our cost, our overheads. And this is a good example where we can save, how we can save the cost and how we can manage the timelines. So with these two experiences, I think I have tried to answer your question.
Yeah, yeah, very well answered. So, in large scale construction, disputes are almost part of the territory. Contractors, clients, multiple agencies, and millions at stake. What's your approach to walking into a heated negotiation and leaving with a solution everyone can live with? Is there a case from your career that really tested those skills?
Yeah, it is a very, very interesting question and then a good question, in fact. So, such a situation actually nobody expects and nobody wants to handle. So, I can very well tell that this is such a situation where the guns are pointed at our head, and at that stage, the mind stops working. Or otherwise, sometimes mind may come out with some beautiful ideas also. So, both things can happen. So, I have undergone one such situation in one of the projects. So this project we were executing in Himachal Pradesh. So I was in Delhi those days, and then I was posted there as a project manager. So we quoted for a project, and then the project was supposed to be grounded. And then I went to the site, a very beautiful Himalayan location in Himachal Pradesh. So when I went there, I had a similar experience like what I explained you sometime back in Nagaland, how I felt, but totally different. The uh, beauty of that place is, I think, we cannot explain in words. So the people there are really they are blessed. I used to say. So in that particular project, what happened? For unfortunately, when we quoted, there was a mistake on our part, and then we were actually low quoted. So this was not known until unless we went to site. So after going to site, I could realize that for a project of about 200 crores, so the loss which I estimated in the initial day, on the very first day itself, was I think more than 50%. So I said that there is no way I cannot go ahead with this. So I have to take some decision. So what to do? The main issue here is now for me how to bell the cat. And then I actually what I decided, I said, okay, let me first keep calm, think, and then take a decision. So I brought it to the notice of the concerned people at the higher ups. And then we were supposed to go and discuss about this issue. So the day I went, I entered the boardroom for a discussion in Delhi. So you know the temperature inside. I came from a sub-zero temperature in Himachal Pradesh, but here the temperature was just like it is. I think I cannot imagine it was more than 45 or 48 degrees temperature. So then I thought that at this with this type of atmosphere, I cannot discuss all this. I in fact ordered cool drinks, brought cold drinks to everyone, and then slowly appraised the situation. And then initially, in fact, I also went to the extent of telling that instead of executing this project, we can give a blank check to my client. So it did not go well with my management, and then they did not like this statement. But however, that was the reality. So they were convinced at a later date. I had to convince them. So now the situation, the tables turned actually. Then the management took a decision and they said that instead of executing the project, now we are going to give you a different job. You come out of this contract. So the tables turned, and then I really do not know how to come out of the contract. So we have entered into the contract, our bank guarantees are there, and then everything is at stake. So it is not easy to convince the client and come out. So at that time, in fact, the key lens which I had in this project is I think we have to play a leadership role definitely when it is required. We cannot hesitate. And then we cannot shy away from expressing our statements or decision, whatever we want to implement or whatever we want to take. And then we should also aim for a win-win situation under such circumstances. Otherwise, client will not agree. So, and then at the same time, I have to avoid the dispute also. So I was happy. I am happy to tell you that I could manage, of course, with my seniors' help also, not alone. With my guidance and support of seniors, I could manage my client. And then we came out with a scheme wherein we, in fact, replaced our works with some other contractors. And then we helped and supported them. They understood that we have underquoted, and having known that we have underquoted, they had given us this work. So they were in a position wherein they are supposed to go and have an unjust enrichment for themselves. So they understood this position, and then we made them to understand that very well. And then finally we could resolve this issue. So that's how we came out of this tough situation. This is one such a different experience which I had in my life. So I think whenever such a situation comes, what we should do is that we should not hesitate to take a decision, and then we should move forward. If it is possible to do, we should do. If it is not possible to do, we should tell that it is not possible. This is a
Yep,
great
very true.
learning from this.
Work and honesty go hand in hand. If you portray something at the end, it'll come back to haunt us only, I guess.
Yeah, you are right. You are very right.
Okay, so now it's time for our very own rapid fire round. So I will ask you a few questions and let's have the answers in one line or one word and really quickly. Is that fine?
Okay, I'll try definitely.
Let's done. So first is what's your go-to comfort food after a long day?
I would like to have paneer slices and then some protein food.
Lovely. Morning person or night owl?
No, I am a morning person. Earlier, I used to be a night person in project sites, but now I am a morning person.
Okay. A song you've been listening to on repeat lately?
Oh, my favorite song is that Bobby McFerrin's "Don't Worry, Be Happy." I
Lovely.
love to listen to this song almost daily.
Okay. One travel destination that is still on your bucket list?
I wish to travel to Japan.
So tea, coffee, or something entirely else to start your day?
I am a coffee man.
Okay.
I always like to have coffee. Even sometimes I used to have coffee in the night before going to bed also.
And it didn't affect your sleep.
No, no, I am used to it.
Oh,
I am from South Karnataka, and then
huh.
there we grow coffee. So I am
Okay.
used to coffee. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, sir, great. I think we were very rapid and very good with the answers. So that's good to go. Now, moving on to the next question. So, infrastructure projects often face disputes over inflated variation claims or ghost billing. With multi dispute resolution methods now gaining traction, combining arbitration, mediation, and digital tools, how do you see these approaches changing construction despite resolution? Like, as part of the first Indian batch of the PG Diploma in Construction Law and Arbitration at Manipal Law School, I'd love to hear like what safeguards or hybrid methods you found most effective.
Yeah. It is, I think, a very, very interesting question, Tanay. Uh, Perhaps I think now we have entered into a sort of techno-legal discussion. So this is a very beautiful question which you have asked. I know, yeah, you are very right that ghost billing is a serious problem. Quantity variation is a common feature in any project for that matter. But as long as it is within limits, it does not create an issue. But when it goes beyond certain limits, so then there is a very possibility that it will have a lot of effect. So here, when we are talking about the dispute resolution mechanism, as such. I would like to say that the people, people who are only good with hammers, so they see every problem as a nail. So they would like to hit it always. So, but the dispute resolution mechanism is not actually for that. So here the first aim should be to avoid the dispute. So when you avoid a dispute, so everything is at its place, and then the initial aim of ours is to complete the project. For that matter, I would like to say that when we enter into contract agreement with any two parties, when they enter into contract agreement, so on the day one, they are friends, and then they sign the agreement. And if you go through the contract agreement clauses, the dispute resolution mechanism always comes at the end. So that is where it should be. But we have to identify the disputes in the beginning itself. And then we have to identify it and then we have to resolve it in the initial stage. That should be the aim. See, like you said, I have seen several projects which are good on paper and they are very good and then they are very safe and then running smoothly. But just for a small dispute, when it grows bigger, I have seen such projects collapsing. So this is where actually we have to be very, very careful about. So now the inflated variation and the ghost bill, they are really to say they are like a hidden time bomb. So the effect is tremendous as the time elapses. So we have to be careful in handling such a situation. So when we talk about dispute, it actually leads us to litigation, and then there is a relationship damage between the parties, and then the cost escalates, and the project gets delayed, and then finally the infrastructure project. Suppose if you are talking about the infrastructure delay, means the public are at inconvenience. So these are all the cascading effects because of this. So what we have to do, then we have to have some mechanism wherein we can avoid all these things. So one of the best mechanism is MDR. So when I talk about MDR, you also mentioned while asking the question that about my Manipal Law School course. So I would like to just mention that I recently completed this course on construction land arbitration from Manipal Law School. So wherein we actually gone through the various aspects of construction law, and then the multi-dispute resolution mechanisms, and then how disputes are resolved, and then the importance of arbitration, both domestic and international, how it is done. So this particular course is actually pursued by only few universities across the globe. Only handful of universities are providing this, and in India, Manipal has started it first. Ours was the first batch. Now the second batch is just running. So here, I just having said that, I want to tell you that when we talk about multi MDR, multi dispute resolution mechanisms, we can look at the other tech companies. See, various tech companies are there who are resolving their patent wars through hybrid legal mechanisms. So here, when they are able to do it, we can also do that in our construction industry or any other similar industries for that matter. So I would like to refer to a very beautiful example. So in cricket, we have a DRS system. So when there is a problem, so definitely they refer to DRS. So then how the problems are resolved there? So it helps us to avoid endless arguments. And then a structured mechanism here, it delivers a clarity and then it saves the game. So likewise, even in our case also, we have to adopt some mechanism wherein we should avoid all these disputes at the initial stage itself. See, if we talk about litigation, we go to court. If we talk about arbitration, it is about enforceability. And if when we talk about digital tools, which you asked me in your question, so this digital tools helps us in getting transparency in the process and also it speeds up the process. Mediation is a very good instrument here, which actually stabilizes the relationship, or I can also say it will repair the damages to the relationship. So we have to adopt these principles, and then we have to see that MDR is a beautiful mechanism and one should adopt that. I would like to share two very small examples of mine. In one of the project which was funded by ADB, a road project. So the client actually did not, there was a quantity variation, and quantity variation led to some dispute. And then because of this dispute, there were two suspensions in the same project. Client did not attend to it, and finally it became such a big issue. So we went for mediation. The mediation there was actually through a mechanism of dispute board adjudication board, dispute adjudication board, DAB. So they tried to resolve it, but the issue was blown out of proportion because it was not identified at the initial stage. So mediation could not solve the problem there. And then we went to arbitration, and then from arbitration further again challenging as per section 34, or then again asking for a review under section 37. It goes to court again. So it is a long process now. Just because it was not identified at right time, this issue is blown out of proportion. Whereas in another case, where we were constructing a large scale development work of a layout, so there some design issues were there. The design agency submitted the bills, but we could not clear the payment. The issue was something like pay if paid or pay when paid. So we were not getting the payment from our client, and then the payment was not being made to the subcontractor. It was again cascading effect. So here the agency went to court, and then finally we went for mediation in the initial stage, avoiding litigation. And in the mediation, this problem was resolved. So which otherwise could have been a very big issue. So it is always better to adopt such mechanisms and then solve these issues at the initial stage itself. This is my take on this subject.
Yeah, very well said, sir. The more it goes on, the more complicated it gets, the more people get involved, and just creates more problems. So you recently joined Directors Institute, and even with decades of experience, you've chosen to continue learning. So we would love to know what inspired you to join and how has the institute influenced your approach to leadership and governance.
Very interesting question, Tanay. In fact, to be frank with you, I was half expecting this question. So it is a very, very interesting topic, Directors Institute. I love this institute. To begin with, I want to start with this statement. So, see, many a times people ask me that, sir, you are having 3 decades of experience, and then even after having so much of experience, and what is there now to learn? And then why we have to again keep on doing all these things? My answer to them is that yes, there is everything to learn. So, learning never stops. So, according to me, learning is a evolution, and then we should keep learning always. The day we stop learning, I think we'll stop leading. So, to be a good leader, one has to learn. And then for learning, I think there is no age. And then there is no bar. Learn from anybody. So, I have been saying this through my this interview that we can learn from our seniors, we can learn from our juniors also. So, there are instances wherein I have learned from my subcontractors also. So, they are experienced people, so there is nothing wrong in learning from them, and then they make us perfect. So, having said that, leadership without learning. So it is, I think we cannot imagine that. It is something like a bridge without a foundation. So we have to have the attitude of learning more. So why I say all these things is that if you look at, if I'm coming to the subject straight away, if you look at the boardroom, so what the boardroom was 10 years before and then what it is today, there is a huge difference. The expectations are different, the challenges are different, and then the accountability has increased. So the questions being asked in boardroom, I don't think the similar questions were asked 10 years or 15 years before. And then the expertise, what they look at the people in the boardroom is also quite different. So people are very smart today. And then I have seen the younger generation is more smart than us today. So there are reasons for that. It is not happening because without any reason. Uh, so it is for a cause. So here, if you see in the boardrooms nowadays, the subjects like ESG, it is being discussed in depth. More and more emphasis has been given on that subject now. So we need to be very clear on that subject. So in fact, in my course in Manipal Law School, which where I studied, we had a very good subject on ESG and also on sustainability. So when we studied the subject, we understood I am handling several contracts wherein we are having FIDIC contracts. And in FIDIC contracts, ESG is a big portion. So we have to adopt ESG at project stage, otherwise we cannot execute the project. So similarly, there is a digital transformation happening. So we have to adopt a digital transformation. When I talk about digital transformation, I would like to refer to artificial intelligence. So we do not know where this artificial intelligence is heading and then where it is going to take us tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So if we are not going to update ourselves with all these new inventions and new technologies, I think we will be missing out on something. And then when we miss out on something, we will be missing out on those things even in boardroom as well. So it is very, very important for a person to keep learning. And then Director Institute is doing that job. And then when I have joined Director Institute, I think I am of a belief. I have just started, and then I have just started the process. I have gone through a little bit of the process now. So I am of the opinion that I will be learning more and more about the rules compliances, and then also I will be learning about purpose-driven governance. And then I think I will also learn about the ethical decision making. And then my more interest is there that I want to learn more and more about the balancing of a profit with principles. So I am of the opinion that I am going to learn about all these things in Director Institute. And then, like I said, experience is valuable, but adaptability is actually priceless. So we need to adapt ourselves to the new situation, and then for that we need to keep learning. Without that, it is not possible. To say about Data Institute, I actually enrolled for advanced course initially, and then I did a little bit of progress in the course, and then I understood that I am missing out on something. So then I immediately upgraded myself to the international course. So now I am happy to say that I have upgraded myself in Data Institute to learn much more than what I was planning to learn initially. So this has not simply happened. It has happened just because how I read Director Institute, how I am looking at Director Institute. Because of that, I have taken this decision of upgrading myself. So to me, in my 30 years of experience, more than 30 years of experience, whatever I have learned by climbing each step. It was like a staircase, climb each step once a time and then come to the top. But Director Institute, at this age now, I cannot keep on climbing the steps. So I don't have that time. Time is essence for us. So Director Institute is, I think it appears to me like an escalator. I have to only step to the first step, and then the escalator takes me to the top. I'm confident about that because the course is so beautifully designed, and then that's why I like it. And I think if anybody is interested, they should definitely pursue this career in Director Institute. So, having said that, I also want to thank you that I had this great opportunity to uh, introduce myself with you on this FaceTime with the leaders. So, Data Institute is doing a great job.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your remarkable insights with us today. Your experiences in infrastructure, leadership, and governance have been incredibly inspiring. It's clear that your approach isn't just about building projects, it's about building a lasting impact with integrity, vision, and care for both people and environment. So, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Tanay.
To everyone listening, if today's episode made you rethink leadership or spark new ideas about ethics and governance, be sure to share it with someone who could benefit from hearing it. Let's keep the conversation going and continue learning from the best. This is FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, stay future ready, and of course, have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.